Good evening and welcome to the Utopian Cafe for Thursday, December 16th. I know it's Beethoven's birthday because I grew up and I still read the Peanuts comics frequently, and I knew every year on the 16th they would kind of honor that. So happy birthday, Beethoven, who would be, I don't know, 300. Anyway, welcome to the show. We're going to quickly recap the signings that we broke earlier today. And I want to thank David Rubin for helping put together some of these final 19th century player signings. We're going to actually have every team represented by Monday. It doesn't mean we're going to stop there. We're not going to stop at 32 players. We wanted to make sure that every team was represented, but you, the universe, have been very engaging throwing out names too. So we want to try to get as many of those as possible. But as you saw earlier today, the Montreal Expos signing John Montgomery Ward. He's going to play a little second base. He's going to pitch a little bit for the Montreal Expos. So Monty Ward to the Expos. Laurie McLean, not very happy with this signing. I would like to know why. But Fred Clark has signed to play outfield for the Los Angeles Angels. I don't know if she was expecting a bigger name, if they didn't think they needed an outfielder, but Fred Clark to the Angels. Colorado signing outfielder Jim O'Rourke. And the Cleveland Guardians signing shortstop George Davis. Now, we're going to have 4 signings tomorrow, and then our last 3 teams will be on Monday. But again, we're going to probably sprinkle in a handful of names after that because we're not going to stop at 32. One thing I do want to note, and I'm sure you guys realize this too, when it comes to creating these rosters, we have 40 players per team. We have 32 teams in the Utopian Baseball universe. So you're talking about 1,200 and some odd players. It's impossible. The math just does not allow me to add everybody's suggestions. So we're going to try to make sure that we're getting to as many of your suggestions as we can. Keep in mind that these rosters are fluid and that we're going to be adding players every year. We might not have the same players come back. So like some of the players added this year might not be on rosters next year. I think it depends on what kind of an impact they're making from year to year. You're always going to see the DiMaggios, the Ripkins, the Gehrigs, Willie Mays, Barry Bonds. You'll always see those players, but some of these players that are filling rosters, there's going to be turnover from year to year. After we fill the 19th century players, we're going to start focusing on 20th century. And then as we get closer to opening day, you guys are going to have a big impact on adding current players to the rosters. Polls, which are actually going to start on Monday. I might take an old a player from the 80s and a player of today and have you vote which one makes it. There's still a lot of holes to fill. A lot of it is, third catchers, seventh outfielder type stuff. The bases are pretty much set. But again, we do have some work to do. Now, again, I want to say, and I want to emphasize this, we can't add everyone. I can pretty much guarantee you not every Hall of Famer is going to be in the universe. Eventually, maybe, but we're not going to add, I don't have a magazine or a website, and I'm just taking every Hall of Famer and throwing them on. What I'm trying to do is get a balance of all-time greats, favorites, not just my favorites, but your favorites, and current players. So I'm not, and I've stated this on the show before, I don't know anything about WAR or WARP or ERA plus or any of these new stats. I'm not even interested in them. I mean, I'll try to hold a conversation or listen, but I want to get characters. One of the first signings, I just had 2 lemon pepper pickles. one of the first signings in this offseason was Spaceman Bill Lee. Not a historically great player, not a Hall of Famer, but a great character. And I want to get as many of those as possible. Gorman Thomas will always be on the Brewers roster, although, he never got a Hall of Fame vote. I want a good mix of the three greats, favorites, and players of today. So after we try to get what I feel are the best 32 to 40 19th century players out there, I want to start filling in with players, from the last 100 years. But again, not necessarily the best players, but some of the most memorable, some of the guys that you just want to see on a daily basis. One guy we had in 2020, we had Dave Kingman suit up as a member of the Durham Bulls. He didn't make the roster last year. We're going to bring him back this year because with a 40-man roster, why not? Some other examples of players we maybe saw in year one that are coming back year three. Ken Herbeck. Gar, our guest on Having a Catch Tuesday, is a big fan. I've got a spot at first base. Ken Herbeck's going to come back. I actually made his baseball card last night. But you guys are going to have a say in pretty much everything else. Once the rosters are built, then you guys will have a say on who's going to start on opening day. Not for every team, not every position, but who's going to be the fifth starter in a rotation? Who's going to play third base on opening day for some teams that maybe don't have an obvious choice. So this isn't my universe. I'm just here at the keyboard. This is our Utopian baseball universe. But again, we can't use everyone's suggestion. It's just not possible. But I want everyone to have a voice, and we're going to try to get to as many of your suggestions as possible. The only thing that's not negotiable is that I'll never institute a designated hitter in the Utopian baseball universe. In my universe, it's 9 versus 9. Pitchers can hit. They're competent with the bat like they were years ago. And I feel one of the reasons that we got away from that is that teams are putting a premium on their pitchers' arms, and I get that. But don't forget why they instituted the DH to begin with in the first place in 1973. The American League did it because attendance was down, scoring was down, and they wanted to gimmick it up, and it worked. I mean, and we have Hall of Fame players that made their name as DHs. I mean, Frank Thomas started as first baseman, but I think he's known more as a DH. Edgar Martinez, Paul Molitor, but when I played years ago, pitchers played shortstop, hit third, played first. Usually your best players on your team were also pitchers. So pitchers will always hit here. We're not going to institute a DH in the Utopian baseball universe. I don't have very much left for tonight, but I will say again, tomorrow at 5:30, we're going to have 4 more signings. And then we're going to have 3 teams revealing their players on Monday. And then Tuesday of next week, very excited, Having a Catch with Joey Buchholz, Tuesday, December 21st. This is our last show before Christmas. Ethan Bryan, do I have it? Here it is. A Year of Playing Catch. Fantastic book. This is one of 3 books I've bought in the last year or 2 that will be in heavy rotation for the rest of my life. I'll read it at least once a year for as long as I'm alive. It's that good. And we're going to be able to talk to him on Tuesday, and I'm very excited for that. Our final Having a Catch of the year is going to be probably my oldest friend in the world, Andrew C. Pfeffer. He's the host of Bowling with the Pfeff on YouTube. It is the best bowling show in the world. And we're going to talk to him about everything. Bowling, Billy Idol, baseball, beards. That's December 28th. So we will see you tomorrow. We're going to break some news in the afternoon. We'll talk about that. Keep your suggestions coming in. If there's a player you want to see, throw the name out, whether it's 19th century, 20th century, current players, 21st century. I want your voice to be heard. So we will see you tomorrow at 5:30 in the Utopian Cafe. Everyone have a great night.